The stadium had never been this quiet. 70,000 beings filled the seats. Claws tapped on metal rails. Tail spines twitched. Cameras floated in the air, waiting. In the center of the field stood 3 alien champions. They were tall, wide, and built like living machines. Their armor was light but strong. Their muscles were shaped by 10 years of hard training. Their bones had been strengthened with careful science. Every movement they made looked sharp and exact. They had trained since childhood. They had never lost. Then the human walked in. He did not wear armor. He did not glow with implants. He carried no weapon, just simple training clothes and old running shoes. Marcus Hale looked like someone's uncle. He was in his 40s, broad shoulders, strong hands, calm eyes. His hair had a little gray in it. He walked across the field like he was entering a school gym. The crowd whispered, "That is a human champion? He looks ordinary. He is not optimized." Marcus stopped at the center mark. He rolled his shoulders once. He bent down and touched his toes. He stretched his neck from side to side. He looked relaxed. One of the alien champions stepped forward. He was over 9 feet tall, with thick legs built for explosive speed. His name was Zorvok, undefeated in coalition combat sports. Zorvok studied Marcus like he was studying a weak animal. Marcus did not look back with fear. He looked at Zorvok the way a coach looks at a student. Then Marcus raised his wrist and clicked his stopwatch. 10 minutes, he said quietly. The translators carried his voice across the stadium. The crowd laughed. 10 minutes? Against 3 champions? The referee drone floated above them. A sharp tone echoed across the field. The whistle blew. The ground shook as all 3 aliens charged at once. They were fast. Faster than most humans could see. Their heavy steps dug into the reinforced floor. Marcus did not rush. He did not step back. He stepped forward. Zorvok reached him first. A massive arm swung down like a falling beam, meant to crush. Marcus moved just a little to the side. Not far, just enough. His hand caught Zorvok's wrist. His other hand pressed lightly at the elbow. His foot shifted behind Zorvok's ankle. It looked simple, almost slow. Then Zorvok was no longer standing. The giant alien flipped forward, over Marcus's shoulder, and slammed into ground with a thunderous crash. For seconds, the stadium gasped. Marcus did not look surprised. He let go and stepped away before Zorvok even finished sliding. The second champion, Lethra, came in from the left. She was built for speed, her body lighter but packed with power. She aimed low, trying to tackle Marcus's legs. Marcus dropped his weight. He bent his knees and pushed one hand down against her shoulder. With the other hand, he guided her forward. Lethra expected resistance. She found none. Her own speed carried her past him. Marcus turned with her and tapped the back of her knee. She stumbled. He used her momentum and redirected it. She hit the ground hard and rolled across the field. The crowd's laughter stopped. The third champion hesitated. Rat-Hen was the largest of the 3. His chest was wide as a door. His training record showed perfect balance and perfect control. He did not rush in blindly. He circled Marcus slowly. Marcus breathed steady and calm. His eyes followed Rat-Hen's shoulders, not his face. Rat-Hen lunged. A powerful strike aimed at Marcus's ribs. Marcus stepped inside the strike instead of away from it. His forearm blocked just enough to change the angle. His other hand pushed against Rat-Hen's hip. He twisted his body. It was not a punch. It was not a kick. It was a shift. Rat-Hen's own strength turned against him. His body spun off balance. Marcus lowered his shoulders slightly and lifted. For a brief second, the massive alien left the ground. Then he hit it. The impact shook the cameras. Silence filled the stadium. Marcus stepped back and looked down at all 3 champions. They were not broken. They were not bleeding. But they were on the ground. Zorvok tried to rise first. His face showed shock more than pain. Marcus offered him a hand. Zorvok stared at it, confused. Marcus spoke calmly, like he was explaining something to a class. "Too much power," he said. "Not enough control." The translators repeated his words. In the control room, coalition officials replayed the footage again and again. They slowed it down. They zoomed in. They expected hidden tech. There was none. No strength boost. No enhanced joints. Just timing, balance, leverage. Marcus clicked his stopwatch again. 16 seconds had passed. He looked at the three aliens as they slowly pushed themselves up. "We still have time," he said. This time, no one laughed. Around the stadium, whispers changed tone. He is not stronger. He is reading them. He is teaching them. Marcus rolled his shoulders again, calm as ever. The three champions regrouped, their pride burning brighter than before. This time, they did not charge wildly. This time, they advanced carefully. Marcus smiled a little. Class was just getting started. The control room was silent. Screens covered the walls. Every angle of the match played again and again. The three champions fell in slow motion. The analyst zoomed in on Marcus's hands, his feet, the small turns of his hips. Coalition officials leaned forward in their seats. Pause. The image froze just before Zorvok hit the ground. No visible enhancement. Zoom on his joints. They zoomed in. No metal. No artificial support. No muscle amplifiers under the skin. Rewind. The moment replayed. Marcus did not strike hard. He did not roar. He did not strain. He adjusted. He shifted. He used their speed against them. One analyst spoke softly. He is not overpowering them. Another answered, he is conserving energy. The data confirmed it. Marcus's heart rate stayed steady. His breathing pattern remained calm. His muscle output stayed within normal human limits. He was not pushing himself. That was the part that disturbed them. Back on the field, Marcus stood relaxed as the three champions circled again. His face showed mild focus, nothing more. The crowd watched with growing unease. A replay of his movements flashed on the public screens. The slow motion showed something clear. Every time an alien attacked, Marcus moved only as much as needed. No wasted motion. No extra force. He treated each charge like a problem to solve. In another room, a historian pulled up Earth's physical development records. Humans evolved on a high-gravity world. She said, their environment was unstable. Predators, climate shifts, disease. A commander frowned. That does not explain this. The historian continued. They adapted through repetition, through survival. Their species values endurance training from early childhood. A new file opened on the screen. Marcus Hale. Occupation. Physical education instructor. Former occupation. Military fitness specialist. Specialization biomechanics. Endurance conditioning. Functional strength. Video clips appeared. Marcus in a noisy school gym. Teenagers running laps. Teenagers complaining. Marcus correcting posture. Marcus showing them how to lift safely. Marcus demonstrating balance drills. He was patient, calm, direct. Keep your back straight. Don't fight the weight. Guide it. Use your center. The analyst stared. He trains young ones. Yes, daily. How many? Hundreds over his career. They watched another clip. Marcus showing a group of teenagers how to escape a hold. He did not use force. He showed angles. He showed leverage. He smiled as a smaller student flipped a larger one. The room grew quiet again. On the field, Zorvok tried a different approach. He moved slower this time, testing. Marcus nodded slightly, as if approving the change. Zorvok lunged low. Marcus stepped sideways and pressed down on Zorvok's shoulder with 2 fingers and his body weight. The giant lost balance and hit the ground again. Center of gravity. Marcus muttered. The translator drones repeated his words across the stadium. The phrase echoed strangely. Center of gravity. Lethra attacked next. She aimed for Marcus's head, fast and precise. Marcus bent his knees and let the strike pass just above him. His hand touched her elbow lightly. She stumbled forward, unable to stop herself. Marcus gave a small push at the right moment. She fell face first into field. The crowd did not laugh this time. They watched. Every movement Marcus made looked simple. Nothing flashy. Nothing dramatic. He moved like he had done this 1,000 times before. In the control room, one analyst whispered, "He treats them like students." The commander did not answer. Rat-Hen charged again, anger now clear in his posture. He swung with full strength. Marcus stepped inside the swing again, guiding the arm across his body. He turned his hips and let Rathen's own weight carry him past. Another fall. Marcus exhaled slowly. He was not sweating. His breathing remained controlled. In fact, his oxygen level showed no sign of strain. "He is not even near fatigue," an analyst said. "How is that possible?" The historian answered quietly. "Humans build endurance through repetition, not short bursts, long sessions, years of it. On Earth, children ran. They climbed. They competed in sports for fun. They wrestled. They played games that forced balance and timing. They did not train only for power. They trained for movement." Marcus walked in a slow circle around the three champions as they stood again. "You're using too much upper body," he said calmly. "You're fighting gravity instead of using it." The translators carried his words again. The alien athletes stared at him, confused. No one had ever spoken to them like that in a match. He was teaching. The coalition officials felt something colder than fear. Realization. This human was not an elite warrior chosen from millions. He was a school teacher. If this was average, what was exceptional? One of the commanders straightened in his seat. "Enough testing." The analyst looked up. "Authorize Rathcore." A file opened on the central screen. Rathcore, Coalition Prime Combat Champion. 10 years undefeated. Enhanced bone density. Perfect reaction time. No recorded loss. On the field, a gate opened at the far end of the stadium. Heavy footsteps echoed across the floor. The crowd felt the vibration first. Then they saw him. Rathcore stepped into the light, larger and more controlled than the others. His eyes locked on Marcus immediately. Marcus turned slowly to face the new arrival. For the first time, his smile faded just a little. He clicked his stopwatch again. 3 minutes had passed. Plenty of time left. The stadium lights dimmed for a moment as Rathcore stepped forward. He was taller than the others. Wider. His skin carried faint metal lines where enhancement met flesh. Every movement looked controlled and exact. He did not rush. He did not show anger. He showed certainty. The crowd rose to its feet. Confidence returned to the air. This was the Coalition's finest. 10 years undefeated. Genetically refined for strength and speed. Bone density 3 times that of a human. His footsteps were slow and heavy as he walked to the center of the field. The 3 fallen champions stepped aside, silent now. Marcus watched them approach. For the first time that day, Marcus adjusted his stance before the whistle. Not because he was afraid, because this one required attention. The referee drone floated higher. The whistle blew. Rathcore moved. He did not charge wildly like the others. He closed the distance in 2 smooth steps, faster than the eye could track. His fist came straight toward Marcus's chest. Marcus barely shifted in time. The strike grazed his shoulder instead of hitting center. The force behind it cracked the air. Marcus slid back 2 steps. The crowd gasped. Rathcore pressed forward immediately. No pause. No wasted motion. A low sweep aimed at Marcus's legs. Marcus jumped just high enough. Rathcore's elbow followed instantly, aimed at his ribs. Marcus blocked, but the impact forced him sideways. For the first time, Marcus was pushed. The crowd roared. Control room analysts leaned closer to their screens. His speed matches enhanced reaction time. Strength output far exceeds prior opponents. On the field, Rathcore did not celebrate. He kept moving. Every attack flowed into the next. No wild swings. No emotion. Marcus circled slowly now. He adjusted his breathing. Inhale through the nose. Slow exhale. He had seen this before. Different size. Different species. But the pattern was familiar. Disciplined. Trained. Repeated thousands of times. Rathcore lunged again, faster than before. Marcus blocked high and twisted away. But Rathcore's knee drove forward into Marcus's side. The hit landed. Marcus slid back across the floor. The stadium exploded with sound. Marcus rolled once and stood up calmly. He flexed his fingers, checked his balance. Still steady. Rathcore watched him closely. No smile, no anger, just focus. They circled again. Marcus did something different this time. He stopped attacking back. He simply moved. Rathcore struck. Marcus shifted. Rathcore kicked. Marcus stepped aside. Rathcore swung. Marcus ducked. The fight became rhythm. Back and forth. Heavy strikes against small movements. Rathcore's breathing grew slightly louder. Not much, but enough. Humans evolved on a world that did not forgive weakness. High gravity made every step cost energy. Predators forced fast decisions. Disease punished the slow. Food was never guaranteed. Humans learned one rule early: do not waste effort. Marcus let Rathcore attack again. And again. Each time, Marcus forced him to adjust slightly. A small pivot here. A longer reach there. A deeper step than needed. Tiny drains of energy. Almost invisible. Rathcore's strikes remained powerful, but they were no longer perfect. Marcus saw it. He smiled slightly. "You telegraph when you breathe," Marcus said quietly. The translator carried the words across the field. Rathcore did not understand at first. Then he attacked again. This time, Marcus watched his chest instead of his arms. Just before every major strike, Rathcore's breathing changed. His shoulders lifted slightly. His ribs expanded just a fraction more. A tell, a signal. Marcus stepped in at the exact moment Rathcore inhaled deeply for another heavy strike. Instead of blocking high, Marcus dropped low. He drove his shoulder into Rathcore's center mass while twisting his hips. His foot hooked behind Rathcore's leg. Rathcore tried to correct, but his weight was already committed forward. Marcus redirected the force downward. The massive alien hit the ground. The impact shook the stadium. Rathcore rolled and stood again quickly, but his breathing was heavier now. Marcus did not rush. He let Rathcore stand, let him reset. Then Marcus advanced for the first time. He attacked the rhythm, not the body. A tap to the shoulder, a pull at the wrist, a step that forced Rathcore to turn. Each movement required Rathcore to plant his feet harder than before. Each correction cost him more energy. Minutes passed. The crowd grew quiet again. Rathcore swung once more with full strength. Marcus slipped inside the arc, pressed against Rathcore's chest, and shifted his weight backward suddenly. Rathcore overcorrected. Marcus swept his leg cleanly. Rathcore fell again. This time, he did not rise immediately. He pushed to his knees, tried to stand. His muscles trembled. His breathing was loud now, not injured, not broken, exhausted. Marcus stood a few steps away, calm and steady. Rathcore attempted one final rise. His legs gave out. He collapsed to one knee, then both. The stadium was silent. Marcus waited. When Rathcore did not move again, Marcus stepped back and clicked his stopwatch. The small digital numbers blinked. 9 minutes, 42 seconds. Marcus looked up at the stunned crowd. 18 seconds left. Rathcore was carried from the field, conscious but unable to stand. The stadium did not cheer. It watched. Marcus stood alone at the center, hands resting on his hips, breathing steady. A thin line of sweat ran down his temple, but his posture remained straight. Medical drones descended around him. "Remain still," one said to the translator. Marcus shrugged lightly. "Sure." Blue scanning beams moved across his body. They searched for hidden implants, muscle amplifiers, reinforced bones, artificial oxygen filters. The data streamed to the Coalition Council in real time. The results appeared on the massive screens above the arena. No genetic modification, no performance enhancement, no cybernetics. Just human. The analysts zoomed deeper. Bone density, above average but within natural human range. Oxygen efficiency, high, consistent with endurance training. Muscle distribution, balanced. No extreme specialization. Scar tissue markers, minor. Old training injuries, fully healed. The lead medical officer spoke slowly. This individual shows no illegal augmentation. A council member leaned forward. Then how? The answer appeared in a different set of files. Earth cultural data, physical development. Videos filled the screens again. Children running on grassy fields. Teenagers playing competitive sports. Students climbing ropes, lifting weights, practicing wrestling drills. Humans did not train only for war. They trained for life. A historian explained quietly, humans evolved under constant pressure. Their planet has unstable climates, dangerous wildlife, microbial threats. Another official added, their gravity is higher than coalition standard. They adapt early, the historian continued. They move constantly. They test each other through games and sport. The word games caused confusion among several council members. Clarify. They compete for improvement, not survival alone. On the screen, young humans laugh while sprinting. Others practice grappling. Some failed and stood up again. They build resilience, the historian said, through repetition. The camera returned to Marcus on the field. He was speaking calmly to the medical drone. I'm fine, he said, just a bruise. In the council chamber, a junior official whispered to her superior. They call this physical education? The phrase sounded almost unreal. Education meant knowledge. Why would strength be taught in schools? The historian answered before anyone asked. They do not separate mind and body the way we do. Physical discipline is considered foundational. More data scrolled across the screen. Average human childhood activity hours per week. Average injury recovery rates. Military crossover training. The lead strategist leaned back in his chair. So this is not an elite warrior? No, the analyst replied. He is classified as a civilian educator. Silence filled the chamber again. Back on Earth, millions of students were watching the live stream from classrooms and homes. In one school gym, teenagers sat cross-legged on the polished floor, staring at a large screen. Their teacher stood on another world. Marcus looked up at one of the hovering cameras. He raised his hand slightly, as if addressing class. All right, he said calmly. The translator carried his voice across two worlds. Quick lesson. The alien crowd leaned forward. Marcus pointed at the place on the ground where Rathcore had fallen. He's stronger than me, Marcus said. By a lot. The crowd shifted uneasily. But strength isn't everything. He moved his foot slightly, showing a small pivot. Form beats force. Always. The phrase echoed across the stadium. On Earth, students nodded. Some smiled. They had heard those words before. Marcus continued, still speaking simply. If you waste energy, you lose. If you ignore balance, you fall. Doesn't matter how big you are. He tapped his chest lightly. You control breathing. You control movement. You control the fight. In the council chamber, officials replayed Rathcore's final moments. The heavy breathing. The slight lift of the shoulders before each major strike. Small details. Small mistakes. Magnified over time. One council member spoke carefully. Our species selects for early specialization. We refine strength in one direction. The historian responded, humans diversify first. They build wide foundations. Then they refine. The strategist folded his hands. So their advantage is not raw power. No, the analyst replied. It is adaptation. The stadium doors opened again as medical teams finished scanning Marcus. The results were clear. No hidden power. No secret weapon. Just years of repetition. Marcus looked around a massive alien arena. The silence felt different now. No more laughter. No more whispers of weakness. Only understanding. He clicked his stopwatch again and slipped it into his pocket. 10 minutes had not yet passed. He had time left, but he did not need it. He nodded respectfully toward the place where Rathcore had been carried away. Then he looked up at the floating cameras one last time. Class dismissed, he said softly. On Earth, the students erupted in cheers. In the Coalition Council, no one spoke. For the first time, they were not studying a warrior. They were studying a teacher, and that frightened them more. The Coalition Council did not hold a celebration. They held a review. No speeches were made. No public apology was given. The change happened quietly, inside official records and strategic documents. On the main classification screen, a single line was removed. Humans, physically average. It disappeared. In its place, new words were entered. Adaptive endurance species, high tactical physical intelligence. The change was approved without debate. There was nothing left to argue. The footage from the arena had already spread across the galaxy. Analysts had studied every second. Trainers had slowed down each movement frame by frame. The result was always the same. The human did not win because he was stronger. He won because he understood how bodies worked. He won because he wasted nothing. Coalition athletic academies updated their training programs within weeks. New lessons appeared in their systems. Energy conservation, breathing control, center of gravity. Some instructors began using recordings of Marcus Hale as study material. They called it the human method. But Marcus never returned for another match. He declined every interview request sent from the coalition. He refused sponsorship offers. He ignored invitations to demonstrate again. When asked for a statement, he sent only one message: focus on fundamentals. Then he boarded a transport ship back to Earth. The welcome at the spaceport was simple. A few reporters waited. Some military officials offered quiet thanks. Marcus shook hands politely, but he did not stay long. 2 days later, he stood in a familiar place, a noisy school gym. The sound of sneakers on polish would echo across the room. Teenagers groaned as they lined up for push-ups. Marcus wore the same old training clothes as always. No medals, no titles, just a whistle around his neck. Back straight, he said calmly. A student near the front raised his head. Sir, the boy asked, trying not to smile, how was the Galaxy tournament? Several students stopped counting and looked up. Marcus glanced at them. He shrugged. They skipped warm-up. The gym exploded with laughter. 20 more, Marcus added. Groans returned immediately. He walked between the rows, correcting posture with gentle taps on shoulders and backs. Form beats force, he reminded them. One girl at the end of the row asked, were they really that strong? Yes, Marcus answered simply. Stronger than you? He paused for a second. Yes. The students looked surprised. Then how did you win? Another asked. Marcus crouched down beside them. Strength is only useful if you can control it, he said. If you get tired first, you lose. If you lose balance, you fall. He stood again and blew his whistle lightly. Up, stretch. As they moved into position, Marcus watched them carefully. He saw potential, not weakness. On another world, Rathcore had already returned to training. His recovery was complete, but his training had changed. He now practiced breathing control before strength drills. Across the coalition, trainers began teaching movement efficiency instead of only power output. They studied Earth's old records: wrestling, martial arts, endurance sports, not because they feared humans, but because they understood them. Humans did not dominate through arrogance. They did not rely only on brute force. They endured. Back in the gym, Marcus checked his watch as students ran laps around the court. One boy tried to sprint ahead early. Marcus called out calmly, pace yourself. The boy slowed down. That afternoon, after classes ended, Marcus locked up the gym alone. He turned off the lights and stood for a moment in the quiet space. No alien crowd, no flashing cameras, just the echo of bouncing balls and distant chatter. He smiled slightly. 10 minutes in the stadium had changed how the galaxy saw his species. But for him, it was just another lesson. He turned off the final light and stepped into the evening air. Across the stars, coalition databases stored the updated classification: adaptive endurance species, high tactical physical intelligence. A simple truth had replaced a mistaken assumption. They trained for power. Humans train for survival. 10 years of enhancement. 10 minutes of experience. You can engineer strength. You can't engineer evolution.